Virgo. So you have the Eight of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the Page of Wands. So these three cards right here for you Virgos, it pretty much sets up, it pretty much tells a tale about how it is that, like I said before, like I've been talking about many times, especially in Virgo videos, a lot of people spend way too much time kind of shortchanging you Virgos. They don't really like to give you enough credit. They like to sit up there and ignore you and act like, because a lot of people are up on their high horse when it comes to you Virgos, right? Because Virgo represents people who do not get looked at, people who are essentially seen through, right? In a disrespectful sense, where people act like they want to undermine your value, is the point that I'm trying to make here. So a lot of you Virgos have been through plenty of that, where I'm sure a lot of people spend a lot of time going out of their way to act like you're less than, and that all the value that you brought into other people's lives, you're still less than, even though they haven't benefited you at all, or they didn't benefit you much while you were trying to get to know them, right? Kept you in the friend zone, treated you like trash. Maybe they were going out with you, but it wasn't for real, where they were really giving you a chance. They just told you that they wanted to hang out with you just to get a free meal out of it. And at the end of the day, that just speaks to the superiority complex / inferiority complex that they have, where they put themselves up there, up on this high horse, so much like they were so much better than you. But in actuality, they lacked the noble traits that really sets them apart, right? From the crowd. And the thing is that the Four of Wands and the Queen of Swords is about, while you Virgos were at your best class acts, in the sense of y'all were very respectful to the people that you were trying to get to know. And a lot of you Virgos were trying to ultimately do the right thing, right? Trying to be loyal to them or showing them your appreciation. But those people didn't, you had the Queen of Swords. Those people weren't appreciative of you. Everything was nitpicking you. Everything was about, like it is that I said before, when it comes to the zodiac signs, it can either be about, it's either about you doing it to somebody else, regardless of the zodiac sign, or it can represent people projecting those same type of energies that would represent your zodiac sign. So in the case of you Virgos, like how it is that people say that you Virgos are very critical, but then when you give other people a chance, and yeah, you're still critical, right? But you're not the way that a Virgo who is dysfunctional would be critical, in the sense of nitpicking every single little thing, because and the person ultimately feels like they have to change. What happens when you Virgos decide to give them a chance? Now they start nitpicking the world out of you, right? Now you Virgos are not tall enough. You're not handsome enough. You're not pretty enough. You don't have, good hair, all this nonsense. And the Eight of Swords represents, right? Queen of Swords, Eight of Swords, right? Throwing the swords at you. And in this case, instead of it actually being physical swords, right, it represents their tongue, just using their tongue to ultimately make you feel down and talk about how it is that when you were trying to get to know them, it's never enough, right? I've had plenty of people, me as a Virgo myself, I had plenty of people that I was trying to legitimately get to know tell me that love ain't enough and that you need money. And it's like, I've only known you for a week, right? They, all this extremely exorbitant high hopes, you need to be making 10 million, you as a young one need to be making $10 million. You need to be richy rich physically. You need to be richy rich incarnate. You need to be the actual real life version of richy rich. And it's like, If that's, if, and I've had people express this to me, right? So it's as a Virgo. So it's like, so wait a minute. You think that if, number one, I'm 9 years old. Number two, do you think that if I was the real life version of Richie Rich and I was balling out like that, why would I be at public school? Don't you think that I would be at some fancy schmancy private school that has all these wonderful privileges like what rich kids go through or rich kids have? So you expecting me to be financially so absorbent? I'm rich like Elon Musk at like 9, at like 10. And you're not that. But we both go to the same school though. Yeah, what reality are you living in? Right? So it's all of this, trying to reduce you Virgos and your value for no reason, right? With their words, with their tongue, right? Their words. And the Four of Swords, all of this disrespect, all of this, sometimes you Virgos, the way that they talk about you, it's almost like you're not there. You've made the transition, right? If you catch my drift, right? You're laying in the casket, and it's like, meanwhile, you Virgos are right there, alive and well. And the Four of Cups represents, while they just sit back and relax, and they lack such integrity, they can put on this front. The mere fact that they can even put on this front and act like they're gleeful about this stuff goes to show you, when we're talking about quote unquote class, right? It goes to show you that they can't get riches, because what they would do with it, they would commit all kinds of atrocities against other people, big or small, right? Physically and spiritually, because their mentality is not correct. Their mentality is not right for the responsibility and the privilege of having riches, right? They have, a lot of you Virgos have had to deal with a lot of people being, very attractive or or somewhat attractive externally, but internally it's like they take this opportunity to go out of their way to show you how inferior you are, when they don't even have to. And it goes to show you that they are ultimately the ones that are inferior, because why do you have to go so hard to explain what trash is? In a society where you throw trash out in a trash can or in a trash bin, or you leave trash in a trash bag and you leave it out on the corner for the trash people or the trash men to come pick it up, why do you have to explain so much in different ways and have to go so hard to explain why trash is trash? We're living in a culture where when you do that, people automatically understand that it's trash, right? So now the thing about it is that the Nine of Pentacles represents the Knight of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups represents through it all, Virgo. Even through all the criticism that people project onto you, that they're trying to, they're trying to hide their own insecurities in themselves, you Virgos still managed a way to be decent, upstanding people. Still, even through all the criticism and the dysfunctions. So now the thing is that the Three of Cups is about how people, even though you're not around, people still find ways to talk about you and talk about how smart you are, or to talk about how capable you are, or what you did, whether or not you're, more often than not when you're not in the room. So again, all this is doing is showing you Virgos, from getting these readings and all this stuff, that ultimately this stuff is like, again, it's really it's, it's really, once again, it really just shows that, a lot of people in society are not really in their right minds. They're quite dysfunctional, you know. What kind of an alien have people been taken hostage by mentally and spiritually, where people think warpedly, and the warped mentality actually is like common sense to them, that where that's normal and accepted, right? Where they deal with such insecurity to the point where they want to do everything that they can to hold you Virgos down and still you rise. They're great, but you're greater, right? So let's clarify the Nine of Pentacles. The World, Seven of Pentacles, Two of Wands, and then you have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so the World and the Seven of Pentacles is ultimately about how you Virgos are choosing to, enjoy your time and enjoy your life, and not be so preoccupied with people's dysfunctions of, this 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 game that, a lot of people want to play, where they think that, in order to get a reaction from you, they have to go above and beyond. So they end up making themselves look like the villain, and they end up telling you everything that you need to know about them, because decent people don't do dysfunctional stuff like how some people would. But then the Two of Wands tried to blame that kind of dysfunctional behavior on you, and it's like, no. The Ace of Pentacles, you will be loners and quite happy being that, right? But at the same time, it also represents, yes, being selective, because you realize now that there is a need to be critical about the people that you spend your time with and you put your energy into, you spend money on, you actually spend years of your life with, and people that you spend having the backs of, because just because somebody tells you that they're noble and that they're higher class than you, doesn't necessarily mean that they are great people that are actually bringing value to the world. Or maybe, they're just lucky to be born in a particular family where they have certain privileges or whatever, or maybe they're in a certain position, but now when they reach to a certain point, they show you that they haven't developed internally enough to be able to handle it. So now they run around trying to be dysfunctional to other people. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one up to you. Let me know what it is that you think in the comment section.